I'm curious if this Phoenix was like planned, or if it was something they just came up with now on the spot. Because I remember back when Dragon Knight was like every game in the meta, like people started to think like, oh, okay, DK is way too strong, but like let's start to think of like how we can counter it. And then we would see like Phoenix coming back into the meta because of how good Sunray was against it. Is this like, oh yeah, let's try Phoenix against Kunkka? We think it's the answer. I like what you were saying about it a lot. So I'm curious to see how it will play out. They don't have any like massive combos with the egg. Like there's no overgrowth, like no Triad, no Faceless, Chrono.
You'll call.
Yeah, they have Call and that's it.
Between Call and Grip, I think that's decent for protecting it. Like if Axe can blink on this Lina, you will be able to save the egg. But there's definitely no guarantees this egg goes off. Not like
This is something that Ghosting has been running forever, by the way. The Axe Phoenix combo, any iteration of Team C goes, he forces it. He is a big Axe player as well, so it might be, oh, look, it looks good against the Kunkka, but it's a strat that we already have, right? The Axe into Phoenix. Because the question here to most players and viewers should be, why not Mars, right? Yeah. And it might just be Ghosting's player preference, honestly.
I'm only worried that... Sorry to cut you off there. I'm just only worried that the Call is going to allow the egg to go off, but is it going to kill anyone? Because if Kunkka gets off boat in any of these fights, I don't think Lina is dying in Call. She's usually like quite squishy and you're like happy to call her. I just don't know if she's going to die. I don't know if you have any burst damage on any hero on Empire that's going to...
They don't currently.
I
think that's a good point, because you think of Axe usually wants heroes with lots of damage behind him, and Phoenix and Bane are both pretty low damage supports. Razor's kind of low damage as a carry until like later on with the refreshers, so I think they need that mid that blows people up, which is like Lina, TA. Lina's taken, TA's banned. Maybe an Ember Spirit, but that's not super high damage, depending how your game goes.
There too,
yeah.
Right?
These are heroes that I think are good for them and suit what they're trying to do. They maybe need another playmaker, but they're still going to be slightly on the lower side when it comes to dishing out damage and killing heroes.
These flex picks from phase 1 make it really hard for me to see how lanes are going to go as well, because I don't know if like Kunkka is going like off lane into a carry. Is Razor going carry or mid? We've seen him in both. Like right now, it kind of all depends on what pick Empire are going to do here, and then Navi can like finalize their lanes with what they want to do.
Yeah.
I definitely like. I think whatever lane tree's in, they're probably going to be pretty happy.
You got to. I would imagine Razor goes safe lane just because you don't want to put the Razor mid versus the Lina. It's like kind of
is
meant
that
to be
bad?
a counter. Yeah, it's definitely a counter pick. I mean, you don't static link Lina.
I mean that's true, but like you could just plasma field and like you're still a range hero that kind of.
Yeah, so you just even, which is not the greatest thing for a Razor.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's bad in his game plan, per se.
Yeah, but I don't know if we're looking for an offlane here on Navi, who is it that's finally laning into Razor? They've banned Pango, which was what we saw General playing before. I think he might have even done it into Razor. So that's his like classic that's been banned
out.
out.
They were watching T1, this is where they bust out the offlane Quap tree and.
Actually, that would be a strong offlane against Razor.
No joke. I mean, you've got a Kunkka as your carry. You've got lockdown with Kunkka Lion, so I think having a Quap is doable. Not saying you should. I don't think Navi will, but I think Quap offlane would actually be good here.
The mid Wind Ranger?
The mid Wind Ranger.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't like it that much. I think Wind Ranger into Kunkka and Lion is awful.
Yep.
That's true.
Not even that
they
great.
Just seem to, let's pick for the lane kind of thing.
I mean, it's okay against Lina, but it's not like you...
It's not a winning lane. It's just like we don't want to send
Yes,
Razor. We don't want to send Razor. We need a range here against Lina, and we don't want to send Razor there. So
yeah,
it's kind of whatever.
I'm not a fan of
that.
I
would much rather see Void Spirit, honestly, or
anything.
Puck.
Honestly,
not Puck is Lion, but okay.
I mean, I feel like Puck still does more than Wind Ranger because like Puck dies to Lion, so does Wind Ranger.
Yeah, everything dies to Lion, right? That's true.
Yeah, it's just. Wind Ranger's literally like, I want to use Wind Run and I want to escape you, but she's X-Mart stun. I mean, if I'm trying to think of benefits to it, she is a hero that can like dance around Kunkka with BKB and kill him. Like she is going to be the damage that gets through his like H people. Yeah, that's nice, especially with like whatever proc item she wants to go, like Javelin, if it's into a Maelstrom, whatever, she'll get through the Treant armor. I think like that is like the amount of physical armor needed to get through this. But yeah, she struggles till BKB really hard.
We have a lot of low cooldown catch as well on this team now with the Wind Ranger. Like between Axe, Wind Ranger, and Bane's Nightmare.
But Navi aren't restricted that much to cooldowns either, to be fair.
True. They can even pick a relatively fast offlaner here, but I'm thinking of what beats Razor.
I think we could carry if they really want. What the heck am I looking at? What?
Is it Core, Clockwork, or Treant?
I think it's Core.
Clockwork.
Yeah, it's
that is a general special. He did love the Clockwork for a long time back when it was meta. He forced it when it wasn't meta as well. And, I mean... Cog pushback.
It's another hero that make Wind Ranger's game really, really annoying. You don't want to go 4-staff on Wind Ranger.
Yep.
It's good into Bane.
And neither of these support. Like usually your 4 position is the one to buy Force. Does Phoenix want to buy Force? Absolutely not.
That's true. It's good against Phoenix too, because you force Supernova in the wrong position more often than not.
No, his job in fights will be to go on Kaori's Bane. I don't. If he's going on Phoenix, I mean, they need to kill Phoenix somehow. I think that's more Aloha Dance's job.
Okay.
Than it is General's. I think they need.
So he's just about disturbing the Bane.
Yeah.
And maybe blocking off the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, these are weird drafts. I can't say which one I favor more. Probably Navi's, just because I really hate the Wind Ranger pick.
It's a big question to me is how well General can do. Like, you're playing Clockwork into Razor. That just seems like a really rough lane. It looks like he's going to have the Lion supporting him, not the Treant. I sure hope so.
Yeah.
So that's going to make his lane a bit better, but it still seems like a pretty tough lane. Like, it's basically Earth Spike and run away every time he gets static link.
I guess you can push him back with Cogs as well. So, not the worst. I haven't played the lane. Maybe he has. Let's go.
Well, let's go. Let's see if General Clockwork does do the trick here as we go into game number 1. And for that, we have the wonderful casting pair of Cap and Fear.
That's right. I'm going to be carried by Fear in this casting duo. Fear, we've never actually got the chance to cast together before, so I'm pretty excited for the next, what could be 4, could be 6 games. We've got a hefty plate ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Get to watch some Eastern European Dota. Followed the last series on Sunday. First time get to see NaVi, so I'm pretty hyped for that.
Well, I will say that both of these teams have lost their first series that they played up against, but it does look like Empire, at least just through the eye test, I personally think they look a little bit worse than NaVi, and it's probably easy to say that just because, I mean, you look at the names on NaVi and you kind of expect great things. Maybe not top of the group, just from what we've seen over the last year or two, but we're still expecting, you know, top 4, hopefully a major slot for them, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that team in general, if you just look at their players, like they have, you know, no one solo, the old VP. V-Tune, I think, has looked very impressive as a carry player for the past year or two, honestly. I've really liked the stuff he's been showing. And General, it's just a solid offlaner, I think. He's been on many teams in Eastern Europe, and he's always seemed to be, like, putting up good laning stage for the most part, and he plays a lot of, like, cool heroes as well, like the Clockwork in the offlane. Not sure how that will do this game, but it's cool.
That's a throwback. That's a throwback for sure. We're going to get a little bit of a battle here over the bounty runes. We'll make sure there's going to be no first blood or anything. It is going to be, looks like 2-for-2 splits. I wanted to talk to you about Solo and get your, like, personal view on his journey. As someone who has reached the highest level of success, how do you continue that motivation? Because we saw Solo, he didn't reach quite the same level as you did, being able to win TI, but they did have this period of time, right, where Virtus.pro was the most dominant team for like a large period of time. It was like a solid 9 months, and they had a 2-year period where they were consistently very, very good. And then he recently had this fall off just this last year where he went from an upper division team to a lower division team to getting knocked out entirely. Like, what is your take on that journey that Solo went through?
I'm surprised that, like, he was able to get back, like, on a team that has, like, you know, top names again. Because, like, once you have, like, that fall, it's kind of hard to get back up, right? Unless you find some type of opportunity to play with these players again. But sometimes that doesn't happen. So as far as his motivation goes, the fact that he's still playing already shows enough that he's motivated in my eyes. And he is hungry. He wants to play and win for sure. So I think him playing with like a new player like V-Tune is really good for him. Instead of like playing with some of the older guys, maybe he can be more of like a lane captain again. And maybe that motivates for me as like a 5, specifically to, you know, give it my all. It's like play with some new blood, new talent to motivate you.
Right, right. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And we'll see how this lane of theirs does. They're going to be playing the Kunkka Treant Protector against Axe Phoenix, which I have to say, I just got done watching a replay of Axe versus Kunkka, and it went all right for the Axe. So I can't imagine that a double melee lane is going to be able to threaten Axe too much.
Yeah, it should be a wash. I don't think Kunkka reversely is going to get pressured either in this lane.
Yeah.
Phoenix a little bit of a weaker laner. You don't see him too often on position 4 anymore for that reason. So they'll probably both just farm. If Kunkka plays his cards right too, he probably won't get pressured by the Battle Hunger because he has the Tidebringer. Pretty easy to get CS with that.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the Axe nowadays, they're just like pretty much using the Battle Hunger to help win the support on support battle. It's just like kind of tips the scales to your support's favor, where they're kind of playing a 1v1 game and, oh, that guy gets Battle Hunger, and now my support is going to be able to just kind of like win that the 1v1 duel. Bottom lane, they are going to be playing a Clockwork offlane, throwback to the old days of the old Suicide offlane. It's a very different time nowadays. It feels like Clockwork has been a support for years and years and years now. What's the value of running it as a core here?
I think they just ran out of heroes to put against like the Razor. They still wanted that melee initiation guy, but your options are quite limited when you're playing versus the Razor, right? So the cogs will kind of give him some distance, so the line can rotate out of the lane, and the Clockwork will feel safe to be put there alone. So I think that's the biggest value it has. The biggest weakness it has is that it doesn't really have any team fight. So their team fight's really coming from just the tree and their carry, and the carry's oftentimes not going to be a part of the early fights. So he's just going to have to make a lot of pickoffs in this game, and hopefully his laning stage goes well. And surprisingly, he's actually winning his lane right now, so...
Yeah, and actually getting a decent number of denies as well, which is pretty interesting. He actually went for the build that we saw. It was kind of like, it was a bit of a meme that was around, I would say, about a year ago, the Wraithband build, where you just build for an extra bit of armor. Depending on who you're matched up against, and obviously against a Razor, that's going to be pretty valuable. And that just leaves our mid lane matchup, which is going to be No One's Lina, who once upon a time was feared as like one of the best laning mids in the game. I remember Sumail, especially when I asked him about like, okay, who's your like top 3 mid laners specifically, and no one was on that list. And he's going to be matched up against Shisui, also in this game known as just SH, who's playing Wind Ranger for the 3rd time in his professional career, obviously in professional matches. Obviously, he's going to be playing a lot more in pubs.
Yeah, I mean, I used to play on a team, Shisui. He seems like the type of guy, when I played with him, that has this comfort heroes, and he likes to play them, but it sounds like he's branching a little away from that. He's really spectacular on Monkey King specifically, so we'll see how his Wind Ranger does. Right now, he's doing okay mid. A lot of denies on no one here, so a little behind in the experience, but keeping even on CS.
It's is that ever a problem when you know somebody is like very specifically likes a certain set of comfort heroes and doesn't usually try and get out of it too much? Uh-oh. Yeah, he's in big trouble. Shackle Shot is going to be able to latch him down. They do have living armor, which is going to be able to keep no one alive here, so he's good. And Shisui's actually going to take a lot of damage on the way out here from Solo.
And on bot lane too here.
Still keeping it going. They actually got him inside of the cogs, and Lightless is dead. Navi, dude, general Clockwork, man. It's in his wheelhouse, and he's comfortable with it, and I guess we're going to see why. It's managed to win a lane that I honestly did not expect to be won.
Yeah, it's partly because the Bane went for that 4-minute water rune there, so he was left alone, and kind of this line here in general, like you can't really play very far up. There's a lot of kill threat, as you can see with this lane, if he is isolated.
Lightless comes back with a bit of vengeance, but the damage is kind of already done. It's 17 and 10 on general. He may not be getting the same kind of CS that the Axe is, but just the sheer number of denies is actually extremely impressive. Ghostic still getting that free farm that we're talking about. We haven't looked at top lane too much just because, as Fear said, it's going to be a bit of a wash.
Yeah, there's pretty much no kill threat here unless Treant.
Oh, they got him again. Lightless is done for. A second time where his Bane this time around was going for the pull, and Lightless just plays way too forward in the lane. Like maybe the last one, maybe his Bane needs to not rotate out, but I feel like that one, your support gives you the heads up, right? It's like, as a carry player, you just can't be forward, right?
Yeah, that's a classic. He's just trying to get that extra 1 CS instead of like respecting his opponents. But NaVi does a great job of like seeing that, you know, he's too far up, he doesn't deserve the CS, and they punish him immediately. 6-minute runes, who's checking them? We got it secured there for Lino. Illusion rune bottom. Interesting to see that the supports aren't moving that much in this game for the runes.
Yeah, it feels like nowadays the trend is both supports on both sides at 6 minutes are going to try and secure that power rune. And,
yeah, I think specifically it has more value if you're playing with spirits, which we see a lot of, because they can make rotations with them. But Lina and Wind Ranger, I think these heroes are just going to farm for the most part.
And I'm sure a part of it is just the fact that Lightless has also died twice. So Kaori's probably like, okay, I can't really leave this lane anymore. I got to make sure my Razor doesn't totally... Because this is not a hero that can really afford a lost lane, right?
No, he can't, because he can't go jungle, right? He doesn't just get that Morbid Mask like some Luna and just hit up the jungle. He's really designed to win his lane. So it's a really big setback that he has 2 deaths already. And honestly, he's behind in Denies and CS behind the Clockwork. Oh, they found out the Bane bottom lane here.
They're going to be able to surround him. The TP rotation is coming in, but it's going to be a Phoenix. And, well, maybe that little bit of extra of attack speed slow is going to be just enough to get Kaori out of here. And now Lightless is going to be able to latch onto General. A dive through from TSA is going to be able to slow him down. Just that little bit of extra. General with the Cogs pushback should be... Oh, from downtown, Shisui made his rotation over and managed to land the long-range power shot to finish off the kill.
It's a big kill. That Clockwork was snowballing pretty hard. Now it's going to put him... If the lane's in good position, now it's not in good position, but it's going to delay his 6 a little bit, and maybe even his TP will be forced bottom, which will allow them to make some plays on Empire if they see the Clockwork TP bottom.
All right, Fear, since I have you here, I need you to settle an argument with me. I'm not sure if you were listening to the panel earlier at all. Hold up. No one. They're going to be able to get the kill on Kaori, certainly, as, in a way, with his life, he secures a power rune for Shisui. That's going to be a regen rune for him, which he quickly pops. What do you think about Razor carry nowadays? I was trying to tell Sheep, this hero actually scales really well going into the late game because of this refresher build that people are going. Sometimes we see Aghanim Scepter, but it's mostly just about being able to give double Eye of the Storm out. Are you a believer in this, or do you feel like it's a fad that's just gonna go away soon?
I have a lot of thoughts on Razor. The first is, like, as a carry, I think he needs a good lane matchup, and he needs a link target in the game. And he definitely had both this game, but the lane it didn't go as well as it should have. But I think overall the hero is good if it has a purpose. But I think the reason why it's able to be picked early is because even if it doesn't have the greatest purpose, it's still a fine offlaner in mid if you want it to be. So the fact that it's flex means you can pick it early, and if the conditions are right, it actually can be a great carry.
We'll have to see how he performs. So what about the other side of things? We've got the safe lane Kunkka. That's been a new bit that has been going around people, especially since the Silver Edge changed, where you now have the build-up of Chrysalis, this guaranteed crit, where you come out with the Tidebringer. Do you feel like this is another innovation that will stand the test of time, or just another fad?
I think the safe lane Kunkka is for sure solid. It is a super strong laner. His talents are insane. He does not like solo carry game. He's not going to be a hard carry by any means, but he fits perfectly well with like a Lina mid, right? Like this core combination will have plenty of damage throughout the game. Maybe it won't be so great if you're like playing a style where you're picking some IO and you're, you know, getting Bloodlust and Empower. He can't really carry the game if you put a bunch of steroids on him, but he works really well in like a duo tri-core setup.
Right, you get your Linas, SFs, those kind of like scaling mids are really going to help you out. Maybe there's a few offlaners that can kind of cover that gap as well. And here, we've got the Lina for the side of NaVi, which we certainly see be very successful. Is going to be able to get away from that rotation nice and quick.
Yeah, this is the point of the game where things start to slow down. You see the Treant just hiding up there, defending his tier 1. Clockwork's actually TPing out here to the safe lane, because he realizes, unlike the Axe, he can't pressure his lane. Another downside of the Clockwork, right? He can't just cut the wave and chip down at the tower. So he's kind of forced to, like, he has a smoke in his inventory to just find something on the map. So there's a little bit of pressure now on NaVi, I think.
And while he knows Ghost Stick is here, and he could have gone for the hook shot, he just doesn't have the damage to be able to kill what is a very farmed Ghost Stick. He's got Vanguard, Blink Dagger already, still holding on to a Fairy Fire, 1500 HP. He needs a little bit of extra help if they're going to be able to get that kill. And Ghost Stick isn't really taking any chances. He didn't really try and pressure the tower too much. He's just playing very efficient farming, pushes the lane in, farms neutrals, keeps it on repeat.
I feel like this is kind of awkward for Navi right now. They have like this Clock who wants to get stuff done, but then they have like this Treant who doesn't want to do anything, right? Just wants to sit there, so he doesn't know who to play with. His Lion, I guess, is level 6, but someone has to take the lane. Lena's just farming. A little awkward. And I think this Kunkka versus Razor matchup is not good for Kunkka the later it goes, so...
I'll just say, Fear, I'm sure we've run into each other a few times. I'm a Clockwork spammer. I'm getting anxiety for him, you know? I'm just like, bro, we got to get a kill soon. Otherwise, we're going to fall off the face of the earth. And he is going to be able to find a freebie here as Kaori runs right into him up into the high ground. So General's patience is somewhat rewarded. No one rotated for ultimately a 5 position. So it's not a huge win for General. It just kind of keeps him keeping his head barely above water, I think.
Yeah, it's just, at this stage of the game, it's just really about, do we trust like our cores versus their cores as the game progresses? Because they're both farming, right? And this Lena's farming really well, and I think this Lena is set up for a pretty good game. I think the Axe is the biggest threat for her, because you can die if you get called pretty easily. But I'm just like trying to... What do you think about the late game situation here? It's like Kunkka, Lena versus like Razor and Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger is kind of like a wild card for me. This hero's really hit or miss in my book.
Yeah, very hit or miss. I think the panel did bring up a good point, which is like the Axe call, where's the follow-up damage before the Wind Ranger pickup? Now we've got the Wind Ranger, so it feels like as long as like if only one of these cores of Navi is a problem, the 2 single target heroes of Razor and Wind Ranger, I feel like, should just be able to focus them down. And I'm assuming it's going to be no one, just because I've seen these Lenas carry the game. So I'm kind of leaning towards Empire, just because of the fact that I feel like they're going to be able to run down this Lena and just focus her into every fight. But I'm also not a big believer in Treant Protector right now, so that's also just me, you know? I feel like
I'm with you on that one. That hero is not that impressive. It even goes down to the laning stage. I was just thinking, there's so many great heroes you can play with Kunkka in the laning stage to have a strong lane, and Shri is just not one of them. There's a smoke coming out, though, from Empire here. They're getting bored. They look a little confused here. Are they going to jump on mid-wave? I'm not sure where to go. Razor broke his smoke. They're just baiting the 14-minute rune, it looks like.
I mean, no wonder they're making a move. Ghost Stick's like, guys, I've run out of farm. Like, honestly, I've got a Blink Dagger Blade Mail. Oh, this is the first reveal of that one, though. And even Shisui actually taking the LSA. They're going to be able to catch Ghost Stick here. He is decently tanky, but maybe not tanky enough, as the magic damage is going to come through. And a failed smoke gang from Empire certainly turns all of a sudden this game on its head, because now Navi... Okay, never mind. I thought maybe they're going to pressure mid-tower, but they say, nope, back to farming.
It's funny, they both had the same idea, because Navi was actually smoked too on the opposite room.
Yeah.
So, like, they missed initiation there. It would have been a totally different fight. I think Lino just would have died immediately there, and that would have been in Empire's favor. But unfortunate miss of the blink called, and they were there for the counter initiation on Clockwork, so it's good for Navi.
That is going to be
that
the
guy's
big
mastered
problem,
tier on Axe, huh? Wow, a lot of Axe games. Never seen that, I think, on Axe.
That's an intense... Like, are you a Grandmaster tier on anything?
Me, no.
Yeah. I feel like there's just been such a limited time since Grandmaster tier came out that, like, you must really love that hero if you've already gone from 25 to 30 like that.
I'm almost silver on every hero, and gold on many heroes, and platinum on a few, but master and grandmaster of none.
Wow, that's actually really impressive that you've got silver on every single hero.
Pretty close to it, yeah.
All right, well, Ghost Stick's like, okay, well, I guess I can get a BKB next. This is going to be one of the most farmed axes you're going to see in a while, but the question is, how effective is he going to be? Because as we saw, the movement speed of Lina allowed her to just stay one step ahead of that call, and if they don't get that, then she's just going to be able to stay one step ahead. In fact, she's going to be closing in on BKB, so it's going to make it even harder, potentially, to be able to catch and bring down this Lina.
It is interesting to me, though, that they're both cores are going BKB in a game that seems like a really awful BKB game. Like, I would like to see, like, maybe more Lincolns versus the Razor, Shadow Blade, something like that, but, like, what does BKB block this game? I guess Blade Mail, a little bit of Phoenix, but, like, that's a lot of stuff that goes through BKB this game.
Yeah, I was watching, I was watching the, I think it was the Hellraiser's VP series, and I was just like, actually it was the PuckChamp. PuckChamp was doing it. Second item BKB on 2 of the cores, and I looked at the game and I was like, this is a sick BKB game. Because they had like, I think it was like Luna, Storm Spirit, heroes that had like a very serious magic damage like mid-game, and they weren't going to be able to do anything against BKBs. This one, I'm not feeling the same way about it. But we've got it anyway. BKB, ooh, hook shot just shy of that Phoenix. Does manage to get off the map and TP'd out. So it looks like we're going to have the trade-off of the Tier 1 towers potentially. Solo is going to try and slow it down, but there is a heavy commitment here from Empire, and they would love to be able to catch Solo. Spot him for a second. Do manage to get the call, but is there going to be any follow-up this deep into the trees? They catch him. Overgrowth. There's the shackle shot to be able to keep him in place for a little while longer. Another power shot. Lightless, one more round of plasma field should do it, and there he goes. The captain of NaVi, the 5 position. They are going to rotate in, though. V-Tune wants to make use of this fresh BKB. He's going to go for the kill on the Wind Ranger, but can't quite pull him back. Lightless, nice 2-man call coming in from Ghost Egg. A beautiful setup with the Cooling Blade chopping him down. Shizui is not able to get away from no one, though, who in the back lines with a BKB of his own came through. But those 2 BKBs from NaVi, the early timing that they got, did not allow them to win their first team fight.
I mean, that BKB just did absolutely nothing, I think, on Kunkka. He TP'd in, BKB'd, he got focus fired. Shortly after the focus fire, he has 70% of his BKB left, gets static linked. Alright, he has half his BKB left, then he gets axe called. All this during BKB, and yeah, it doesn't really work out too well for them. They should decide faster what they want to do here. Looks like they're going to go in here on the axe, Ghost Stick.
I mean, General is pretty much by himself. A good use of the hook shot is going to be able to get him away, but still, Empire seeming very in control. The net worth is even on this game, but that last team fight win, I'm sure, put them feeling pretty good about the game and probably up in experience at least.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you here, Cap. This game here, it's real scrappy, and that normally only happens when teams, they're not looking so crisp right now. Like, they can't decide what they want to do. This tree is being chased for probably a solid 30 seconds before his team even decides to, like, react to that. And normally when that's the case, you just don't react to it. You just use the map, right? Farm everything. Let your tree die. It's space. But when you react to it, it's no longer space. It's a team fight, and they were too slow to react to that.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of that is I feel like it's the items making that decision for them, you know? Like, they got the 2-item BKB, and they're like, we must be strong. Let's take any fight that is presented to us, even though they didn't actually do it right away. They still took it eventually, and they lost that. And now I'm looking at V-Tune going, is this carry Kunkka actually going to scale well? He didn't go for, you know, like that Crystallis Silver Edge buildup. So he's not got like this hefty amount of damage that's really threatening to Empire yet.
Yeah. I just think they're playing the map wrong on NaVi right now. Like, it's like no one player's fault. It's just like the team idea of how to play the map. If I think Team Spirit was playing this game on Dire, they'd be playing on the side lanes. They'd be shoving side lanes out. Tree would be lurking. Lino would be TPing in when he sees an opportunity with some overgrowth. But they'd always be pressuring the lanes in the meanwhile and getting their farm up instead of like desperately looking for these smoke ganks and trying to play as a team. Like, they don't really have heroes to like be smoking around like that. And that's kind of the nature of the Tree Protector. But they're going to do it anyway, and it should be very obvious what's happening here.
They are going to be able to find Shisui, who, without a BKB, was so close to it, is very, very dead. So, going to be able to get that pick off. Fortunately, wasn't quite obvious enough for Shisui. He doesn't get out of there in time. And NaVi do get that pick. But yeah, I know what you're saying. like both Clockwork and Treant Protector kind of lend yourself to a very pick-off-oriented playstyle, right? And the fact that they're so gung-ho about team fights is a little curious. As Empire, they're willing to take a team fight potentially. Okay, he gets out.
Yeah, so like the reason why I say like he should have seen that and he should have seen that gank coming on Shisui is bottom lane there were just 5 heroes down there. Phoenix pushed the wave out and they didn't see anything, right? So if Phoenix isn't getting dove there or dying there, you have to respect the fact that they're going to cut across the map.
Yeah. Especially with your mid tower, like mid tier 1 still up, like you still have a pretty good sense of map control. If they're not bottom, you don't really see them mid, then they kind of got to be top.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
a process of elimination. Looks like Yule's potentially next build up for General into Aghanim Scepter. I will say at least the Aghanim Scepter does give core Clockwork a little bit more scaling than it used to, but still.
I mean, when's that coming?
Yeah. How does Clockwork farm that without getting an excess number of kills? I guess it's you got to be really good at rocket flaring creeps, you know. Hook shot in. They're going to be able to find the initiation onto the axe once again. Gets off the blade mail. They are just going to throw everything they have. Finger and Laguna Blade. Empire reading that, though, and saying there's nothing left in the tank for these guys. Let's run at them. Lightless is going to challenge. Nice Fiend's Grip into the back line. No one is going to be caught left for dead here as Lightless smartly reading that no one is dead. He just keeps trucking. You know, he keeps looking for that next kill. And won't be able to get it because of V-Tune, but still a nice idea and a good read by Empire, despite the fact that they lost their initiator, their offlaner, right away. They still read they're stronger in team fights.
Yeah, he got his blade mail off before that, so he actually returned a lot of the damage there. And he was so close to a tower there, if you can't get the kill quickly and get out, you know there's just going to be a team fight. It's a really interesting spot. Like it looks like a kind of like a desperation smoke in a way, maybe in their eyes. I guess it's not a desperation smoke, but it's like really wanting to make something happen with the smoke. If you look at where that fight happened and you look at the tier 1 tower mid and the shrine and bottom and the tier 2 bottom, they're really pincered in there. If they don't like get a kill fast, they're just gonna get surrounded, and they did.
Yeah.
And I don't think Axe is that ideal target too. He's way too tanky. Another smoke. They're really wanting to get everything here. Razor no BKB.
Played a little fast, and it is going to be able to catch Empire a bit off guard here as a defensive sleep comes out. And that is going to be enough for Lightless to get off his BKB. Soaking away the damage from General. He's got to be careful of V-Tune's damage, respecting that one. V-Tune looking for the nice cleave. Hitting it off the range creep. Nicely played. Shisui's still going to be able to clean up a support here, but now that the focus fire is done, there's not much threat left. Navi is going to back away, accepting a 1-for-1 trade. Support for core. They're very happy with that.
They even got the refresher. He popped the refresher to get another BKB off right before he got cleaved, so that's down as well. Fortunately, BKB does not save you from that cleave damage.
And maybe we can finally see both mid-tier 1 towers still live at 24 minutes is pretty insane. I can't remember the last time I saw this, just because the importance of the mid towers, usually one of them is gone by now, if not both. But V-Tune looking to be able to finish it off now. A couple of shots, and finally that does it. So 7-10, Navi now getting a little bit more, not a net worth lead, but they are at least going to be able to control a little bit more of the map, and maybe that will naturally translate into a bigger gold lead.
Now, if you think about it, like, a part of the reason why these tier 1s stay alive in a game like this is because of the Treant Protector factor. And it's not just because Tree heals the tower as well, it's also the tree doesn't move from his lane, which means you don't really have these mid skirmishes that you normally see, and then all of a sudden the tier 1's dead, right? He just sits in his lane, nobody really moves around the mid lane, they're not really checking their runes. People have just kind of like ignored the mid lane in this game, and it's sort of Treant playstyle, but it's also player like playstyle as well.
Yeah, when
I look at his tree, right? Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say the meta right now is so important to be able to control mid, both for power runes and the tower. It represents map control, and that's why I hate Treant Protector. It's just, as you say, like rotating Treant Protector in the mid lane feels awful.
It's not the best, but some good Treant players can make it work. And there's a smoke coming from Navi here. Again, how many smokes do they have?
They're going to be able to get the call onto this poor Clockwork. Nice hook shot away, though. That's going to be able to actually let him live. Power shot just slightly off the mark there. A really good escape from Empire's smoke. And Navi going to be able to retreat back to their side of the map. Feeling good, feeling controlled. And I would love to see them go in after they just saw a failed gank like that. But I guess the refresher's coming back up for Lightless, so.
Yeah, he probably wants his BKB up and then refresher. Yeah. They have to be out of smokes now, right? That's like
they got it. That was like 4 in the last 5 minutes. They are going to be able to catch Solo here. Shisui cleans that one up. Set up for Roshan, but they don't really have the best way to take it. Unless
both teams have awful objective takers. Like Kunkka, Razor are not great at hitting Roche, are not great at hitting towers. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna mainly be off team fights and dead heroes. Can't really just brute force.
We have yet to see like that definitive big team fight win where like, you know, we get a 4 heroes dead or something like that. Nobody's had the big enough opening to do so.
Yeah, I think right now Navi, I'm very curious on how they're gonna play, because to me they've kind of been like a one-trick pony. They really want to fight. They really want to smoke as like 4 to 5 heroes at you. But now that they're out of smokes, can they find a way to play the map in a way where they don't require smokes to make something happen? Looks like they're gonna go to like the traditional format of just putting 4 heroes bottom and sitting here and farming. But at some point that's gonna feel awkward because they have Roche control on Empire.
Yeah, you kind of would like to see maybe someone pushing out top. I guess that would only really be the Train Protector. You can do that safely. They're going to mass rotate down to this bottom lane and potentially catch no one. They do manage to get him right away with a call. The Blade Mail just ripping him apart. The Shackle Shot follow-up. They thought they were safe because Solo was sitting behind the tier 2, but he didn't actually see the TP rotations coming in. And as a result, no one's dead. An easy 3 kills for Empire and perhaps an opening to take an objective.
Empire's just playing better than Navi. Like, they're just playing better. Like, everything I've seen from Navi this game so far, a lot of it has to do with the Treant, I'm sure. It's just, it's been very slow and very obvious, honestly, their moves.
Chasing for another, General. Using the Yules, getting rid of that haste rune, but mid tower is still dead. A big win for Empire as Lightless starts taking over the triangle as well.
That's a big pickup for Kunkka though. He got the spider legs versus Razor. That'll help him out a lot. You can just like cut across terrain where Razor cannot cut across.
A little unfair.
Unless he got his own spider legs, but looks like they didn't.
All they've gotten is Psychic Headband and Paladin Sword so
they have
far.
A chance.
So they roll of the dice, see if they can get it.
That's just Dota sometimes.
You, after all this time with neutral items, it's been about 2 years now. You, how do you feel about them?
Oh, in second, there's a team fight.
Hex goes out before the BKB could, but it doesn't really matter. Ghostic is there for the follow-up call, and Lightless is with his own BKB chasing down some heroes. BKB ran out, though. No one. A defensive sleep. Trying to get him out, but the Overgrowth is going to be able to hold the Razor in place, and he dies. Focusing now onto the egg. It's going to fall as well. B-Tune with a double kill, looking for more. Cower, he's certainly dead as he gets Yuled up by General. A clean team fight win for Navi. Well, not super clean. It did cost them buyback from V-Tune, but it's certainly going to be enough for them to look at a big Roshan kill.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these teams. Razor just didn't refresher orb and BKB again, so he just got Lena stunned after his first BKB, and Shane stunned after that. I thought for sure it's like, oh wow, looks like they're going in here. Bags.
Ghostic almost caught V-Tune. That probably would have been a kill, but instead he's just going to die here. And now the Wind Ranger gets caught and doesn't have BKB when she comes back down from her trip in the tornadoes. So that's going to be a team fight wipe, ultimately. And again, Roshan for Navi, and a clean lead for them, probably.
Yep, team fight Roshan. That's what I was saying. I was Empire, like they're outplaying them. They kind of just outplay themselves there a little bit. A little bit of the young blood mentality there, trying to go for that Roche steal for the huge plays. Adds more damage. It could have been big, though, to be fair. It could have been big. They had two choices there. They either go for that play and, like, make a huge play there and be praised, or they could have just shoved all the lanes out and made it so after NaVi did Roche, they have to deal with their lanes. But now they have lane problems, and they died at Roche. So NaVi is in a situation right now where they can do whatever they want on the map.
Yeah, and we'll see what they do. As the Wind Ranger comes up in 10 seconds, NaVi is going to be in prime position to maybe pressure the bottom tier 2. They can sweep across the map and invade the triangle again. They've got plenty of options. General halfway through his Aghanim Scepter. No one's going to be going for a Satanic. No one a little bit skittish about hitting this tier 2 tower because he got caught last time. Fool me once. This time they're going to be able to get the call onto Vtoon. And if they get this kill, it is going to be a dieback here. They're going to focus him down. The Overgrowth missing. Shisui is going to be able to quickly BKB that one off. And Lightless now trying to drain away the damage of no one. The last shot comes in. A good use of the Refresher to be able to get that plasma field. And now he's going to come back into an immediate sap of damage. But there's no follow-up disables here until, there it is. Ghostic is in prime position to be able to stop that one. Just as you think NaVi is going to be able to get some control, they get surprised once again by the bottom tier 2 defense of Empire. General, it sucks playing Clockwork against Phoenix for just that reason. Can't even get out of his own cogs. Just like that, the game swings right back into Empire's favor.
That's just
There's not much to say.
First, I mean, there's a lot to say, but I'm trying to, like, not be mean, you know? Like, in this situation. So, first of all, Kunkka didn't have the Aegis after buying back that fight. That was weird. And he's hitting the building. Second thing is, how does that happen again? Like, they have a Treant, and they have a Clockwork. Like, if they want to be hitting this tower, there has to be, like, a Rocket Flare for Vision to cancel the dagger. There has to be some type of initiation there, so this doesn't happen. If Axe jumps you on your tier 2, you're gonna die. They have so much control. Like, you are gonna die if he jumps you there, so they have to get the jump first. And they have a Clockwork. There's no way they should be there without having some type of Rocket Flare and initiation. But, alas they were. Kunkka has no buyback, so Lena's not gonna bother buying back. They do have the the living armor to delay this a little, but they did finish it off, so they won't be able to heal it back up.
And Empire can just go ahead and take this outpost, and maybe they can go for a second tier 2 as well. This is very, very odd. You know, I appreciate how kind you are. You didn't want to say anything too mean, but I will just say, like, this is Division 1. You know, I expect... I expect good things out of at least NaVi, you know, because Empire can forgive some missteps, because everybody but Ghostic has a much smaller Wikipedia page when it comes to history. Ghostic is going to be able to get a nice initiation on a solo, just a free kill. They ensure NaVi's not getting back into their triangle, no opportunity to be able to get any farm out of those Ancients, and stay pressuring NaVi and not letting them outside of their base.
Yeah, I mean, I expect a lot more from NaVi as well. Kind of like it looks like a team right now. Oh, hold on.
Oh, chain stuns. Push back. There's going to be the defensive nightmare once again. The Fiend's Grip holding him back. Lightless needs to be able to keep his distance from Vtoon. He's got to respect that again. Vtoon trying to get away from the egg, does get stunned up for a second. Ghostic is able to walk backwards here as they are still waiting. A little bit surprised that no one didn't go for the buyback there on the Lina, but it looks like he's trusting in his team to be able to hold without him. Shackle Shot not quite latching onto the Lion in the back lines. Ghostic, he's gonna chill. He says, we're a little bit too low for this. Oh, maybe not. They're gonna re-engage here. Nice little top up from the Sunray, a smoke, and waiting for somebody to be a little bit too far forward. Kari does manage to get the Nightmare lead off. Solo doesn't go for the break there. Lets the Kunkka get initiated on, then down he goes. 85 seconds gone, and with 40 still left on no one. It looks like okay, now he's gonna go for the buyback after the hookshot initiation. They're going for Lightless here. Does manage to hookshot. Oh, what a Nightmare save! Just in time to prevent the Laguna Blade, and they run out of damage on NaVi. Empire once again bailed out by their support. Kaori killing it right now on the Bane. Even as he dies, he did his duty, man. That was beautiful.
Yeah, did you see both those saves? He saved from the boat the first time when he was out of position on the Razor, and the second one he disjoined the Laguna blade. So,
damn.
Speaking of good things to say, this Bane is playing amazing. At least in that last team fight he did. They're setting up for no one here. Surely. Alright, no one doesn't go forward. He's sniffing it out. When someone's not farming like so many waves, that's to be a little bit of an indicator that they are doing something. But yeah, like as far as like Navi goes, like I'm surprised after watching this at how far behind the meta it feels like they are and their movements alone. And that might honestly have to do with Treant Protector. It kind of sometimes for a lot of teams makes it a little awkward where your pos 5 is like not part of the game, right? And that's kind of what I was talking about before, where a good Treant Protector is rare to find because you have to play this hero so much different compared to most 5s. You can't just be AFK farming. It's kind of like the Nature's Prophet 5, where it's like, oh, my 5 is just AFK the whole game. And then things get kind of weird. So, Solo wasn't able to find like an impact in this game for his hero, and it kind of leads to these like games where your team feels like nothing's happening. They don't really know what to do. They feel like they're missing a hero on the map.
Yeah. And as a result, Empire, after some back and forth, has now got themselves a 9,000 net worth lead. 21-16. They're going to be able to, I presume, get this tier 2 top lane without Navi given much of a fuss. We're probably going to be waiting out Roshan, which potentially spawns in just a minute and some change. So we're going to be getting to that period of time where Navi has to get out of their base if they want to be able to contest Roshan, but it's not going to feel very safe to do so.
I'm wondering if this Satanic is the correct choice on the Razor. It certainly isn't bad, but as you mentioned before, this Aghanims could have been very good. Especially, he has everything lined up perfectly for an Aghs this game. He's got the AC, he's got the Refresher.
Yeah,
we'll
especially since it can feel a little bit wonky in team fights, especially if you're just chasing down one guy. But if you're sieging high ground and stuff, like there's just the added benefit of being able to have the Aghs. But I feel like this has been the trend that I've been seeing lately. It used to be the Aghs build up. Honestly, I feel like the first person I saw was Envy. And that was probably like 6-9 months ago. And then this new round of Razor, a lot of people I've been seeing just don't go the Aghs at all, and just the Refresher, which is probably part of the reason that Razor is kind of back into the meta. Is that Refresher has been very meta lately. A lot of people have been loving that item, and they're going to be able to get a nice kill here onto the Kunkka. So now Empire can do the bold bottom lane sweep. Tier 1, Tier 2. They got to pick off on Solo here as well. So world's kind of their oyster for Empire. Ghosted?
Looks like I might get one.
He sees.
Alright. He's had some amazing calls, and he's also had some very strange blinks this game.
Yeah.
He's all over the place. But overall, like, he's been playing amazing on Axe. He has the Refresh Orb too, and the Spell Prism.
I think the most important part is his farm, right? Like he got so much out of that laning phase. It's so often you see an Axe just kind of become a call and then dies immediately. You have to be able to do pretty well in your laning phase to keep scaling as an Axe, I think.
Yeah, Axe seems like a hero that looks pretty easy, but mechanically you have to not miss a beat on that hero or you do fall behind pretty hard. And he has the experience to show for that hero. I think he's the type of player that can put up results like this pretty consistently as long as it's a decent Axe game. As you mentioned before, this Axe hero, when you're playing versus like a tree or something like that, the Battle Hunger will, generally speaking, make it so he's in a 1v1 most of the time to get good farm. If you don't have a hero that can punish it at some point, and no one didn't seem like he was very interested this game on shutting this Axe down, so he got enormous. Alright, another smoke here.
30 seconds. Navi just gonna have to get outside of their base with this smoke.
But where are they going? There's like two top. They're going bottom right. It took a while to decide. You can definitely tell there's like something in the Navi comms where they don't know what the game plan is. Not exactly. They're trying to, like, form it on the fly. It's not like a well-oiled machine or anything. They're trying to figure this out.
It feels like to me there are different ideas about what we should be doing. That's my own outsider perspective of watching this Navi game. It just, you know, you can always kind of tell when like a team, like somebody makes a call, everybody follows through. You could just see the synergy. You could see the follow through of everybody. This one feels a lot more independent. That's for sure.
This is the Ag Shard. Who's that good on this game? I really like the Wind Ranger one.
Yeah. I mean, if the game is pretty much about just being able to keep these heroes in place for the Wind Ranger and Razor, it feels like Gale Force is probably the best option.
Yeah, he picked it up.
Meanwhile, I love this. Ghostic, they smoked up early. Roshan dies. You're thinking about a certain timing of when Empire could be on this side of the map, but Ghostic left that Roshan pit early. He smoked up with Kaori, and they're going to be able to be here in this bottom right part of the map sooner than Navi expects. And see what they get. Ghostic going for the blind call, misses that one, and it looks like everybody from Navi will manage to retreat safely.
Should that shard be global? I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
Like, that shard just seems way too good because it's a global. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, he missed. It wasn't like an obvious miss. He just had to guess that they're running that way, but they cut into the trees instead. So, barely got out there, a Navi. But they're back in their base now, turtling it up. Aegis is out. Solo's on the map, but that's just about it. I'd like to see them play a bit more with Solo and no one on the side lanes. Like, you get these lanes shoved out, like Solo has on top lane, but have Alina just lurk around, just in case that one hero does come back to defend. You can kill him with those two heroes. Like, a Razor will die, a Wind Ranger will die. Axe
you know,
might be a bit harder, but...
It's a really good point because they don't have a Boots of Travel hero, right? Like, oh, actually, Ghostic does, but still. It's like they don't have some, like, easy way to clean up side lanes. They're going to be able to get the initiation on a Ghostic. All in on him. They bring him down. Shizui did go for the support, but didn't actually manage to get the kill. The Gale Force goes out. Lightless committing to be able to go on to no one here and drain him of all of his damage, but no one's running so quickly. Lightless slows him down a little bit longer, drains a significant amount of damage, and puts no one out of this fight for at least a decent amount of time. V-Tune's got to pop his invis to get away from Lightless and all that stolen damage that he has. And it looks like they're just going to run out of detection here as TSA spotted him, but doesn't have the movement speed to be able to catch up. So V-Tune's out. No one got a little greedy there and is going to be farming the jungle while he's out here. Might as well, but he might get caught. Ghostic, he's reading this one a little bit, unfortunately. Goes left when maybe he should have gone right and is going to miss out on lane. It's just kind of like blindly looking through the trees. A great idea. You could definitely tell Ghostic, like, his game sense is on point. It's just, you know, sometimes it's a little bit of luck involved in where you look.
Yeah, this lane can be very slippery too with the Boots of Travel and 3 Fiery Soul stacks. Very fast here.
Certainly seems like Empire's respecting the high ground of Navi. I'm not sure if they need to.
All right, another smoke. This is Navi style. Like, this is my first time casting, but I can tell they're a brute force type of team.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to find Empire with some of their heroes here. Immediately going for the axe. Aloha Dance throws out his damage where he can. Kaori's dead, but again, taking double ultimates like that. Ghostic now gets to be able to find his initiation. Double call, double BKB, and V-Tune is dead. He does have a buyback here. So Empire going to chase down what heroes they can, but as long as they don't overly dive, oh, they're going to be able to get this initiation onto Ghostic, and he's dead. That's a dieback. 2 minutes on the clock for him. The Phoenix falls as well. Navi is certainly going to be able to hold themselves in this game for a while longer, thanks in part to the buybacks and General's Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a minute, almost 2 minutes for the axe, but they don't really push that fast on Navi. They did commit a buyback on their carry again. So if they do manage to get their lane shoved and don't lose their axe here, it's not really going to be a big deal for Empire. They're still in control of this game, as long as they don't start bleeding right now, because it's up to Navi to make some initiations now. Lion's dead, so it's all on clockwork here, really. He has the Ags now. So I guess he's had that for a little bit. He's got 4K, so he can make these initiations. A little nervous for Empire right now. I think they should be sitting in their base here, not
Yeah, I do
here.
not agree with Lightless being here, but he feels like he can take the team fight. Does get Cogs pushed, but gets off the BKB, and they're going to be able to take down no one, and that is most of the damage on NaVi. The Gale Force pushing them back. V-Tune trying to get away from Shizui, but he's catching up. He's going to be able to have the Blink Dagger jump forward as well. Do they have any detection? Lightless? No. They've got nothing in the tank there, so Solo is just going to be the sacrificial lamb, but V-Tune, importantly, does get out for NaVi, and it was a little bit of a risk, but Empire feeling like, hey, we still have this Aegis. It was just about to time out, too. Got another 12 seconds, so he wanted to make use of it. They got the right initiation. It worked.
Yeah, that play was similar to like the Roche one earlier where they jumped in and died. It's a high risk, high reward play because Razor was about 2 seconds from getting spotted and jumped on, and that would have changed like the whole fight.
Yeah.
Because Axe had no buyback, so that's why I was nervous about it because it could have went south very easily.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I'm right there with you. But Empire, the reward is reaped, and I mean they don't have their fight position, and Axe is gonna be able to. He's gonna clean up this bottom wave, and then he can join them. See if they want to try and force out this buyback from the Lina. It's a little bit scary against Clock Axe just because the moment that buyback comes out, you know the initiation is going to come from General. You could potentially get caught.
Yeah, no refresher right now on the Razor as well. But they're going to do it anyway.
Poking at Lightless here, getting him pretty low. General thinking about it, didn't quite have the angle though. And no one maybe making the call of the fact that he doesn't want to buy back. They're going to go blow the glyph. And at this point in time, Empire can commit a little bit more. Seeing 15 seconds, knowing this Lina probably doesn't want to go for the buyback. They can continue to assault this tier 3 tower, but it's ultimately not going to be able to force that buyback out.
Ghostlook doing one of his blink jumps again, that little off the mark. He committed BKB for that one too. So they're gonna have to back up a bit. So as a Clock player, like, is this the stage of the game where you actually get farmed as Clock? Because he's like shoving all the lanes out with Rocket now, and he has 6k gold. It's like for the first like early phase, you don't get any money, but like when this mid game and everyone's like posturing on hills, this is where you get all your money, I think.
Yes, it's like it's this terrible thing where it's like when the game is even or you're losing, you don't get a whole lot as Clockwork because you're not getting kills. But when you're stuck inside your base, all of a sudden you start reaping some serious gold. It feels bad for the rest of your team because no one's farming. You're the only one who has the global capacity to do so. But hey, you gotta enjoy what you can get. He's got 6,200 net worth. He's almost got an overwhelming blink, which well, it's gonna be something.
Is that the item? Might be. Doesn't
Maybe.
look that bad.
No.
Maybe an overwhelming blink. Oh, we went Orchid. He's changed it up.
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm not sure if that's the item. Like some Bloodthorn could be good, I guess. Hex, like some control damage sounds great.
Yeah.
Bloodthorn will give him the burst potential for sure. Would be nice.
Squeezing on through here.
Well, General
Got the high ground.
vision.
The smoke's gonna pop from General, and they got spotted by this high ground ward. So they know NaVi snuck through here. They at least know General was here. He certainly wasn't going to be alone, but the rest of NaVi kept on trucking. And they're now at this bottom lane because the creeps are hitting the tower. So naturally, somebody wants to return. Empire, though, being disciplined enough not to take that bait, it seems, are just going to be like, okay, we're going to hit your high ground. Knock, knock. Is anybody home? NaVi? Not really showing any heroes just yet.
I like the idea of that smoke.
Yeah.
But it seemed like there was a little bit of disconnect because General made a pit stop, like under the vision there, while the rest of the team was running towards bottom. Then all of a sudden their initiator, if someone did show bottom, wasn't included, right? So
Yeah.
definitely a difference of ideas there. Maybe General thought they were going to fight on that high ground and plant a ward. Oh, there's a mass TP coming back. There's found Aloha Dance, but is he out? Yeah, he's good. They'll just run back to their vision, shove out bottom, connect back to vision. They de-warded, so they saw that opening, which is good.
Yeah. And
Now would be a good
NaVi
time
is-
to smoke.
NaVi gets an opportunity to push out. They take down a ward. They wanted to be able to get the outpost, but I think they realized there's too little time. And there it is, Empire with the smoke forward. They want to be able to retain control, keep NaVi inside of their base as much as possible. And General is going to break this smoke. Looking for the hook shot back into his team. Actually managed to hit the Wind Ranger as she jumped in. Overgrowth, and she's taken so much damage, she's just gone. Just like that. Lightless, nice call coming in from Ghostic. Keeps the pursuit onto no one. Lightless really wants to be able to get this kill. They need a little bit more damage, but the Cooling Blade, it was slightly too little, but they still managed to get it in the end. It looks like maybe a Blade Mail, maybe a little Battle Hunger damage. Either way, no one falls. He buys back now. A must-win scenario for NaVi if they want to keep this game going. Gotta get what picks they can. It's just the Phoenix gone for 2 minutes. Empire, we'll see if they keep this timeout. They could try and force a small numbers engagement inside of the base if they really wanted to with no Kunkka, but it seems like they're a bit skittish to do so.
Every coin helps.
Yeah, NaVi there. I thought normally when you're baiting like that with the clockwork, right, you're sitting under vision, and as that Razor pops, you jump him. But he's kind of sitting there on clock alone, and his team is like sitting in base. So I think it's a very just strange approach, and I'm just not impressed by NaVi right now and what they've been putting up this game, because this is like some basic stuff for professional teams, and I know for a fact that all these guys on NaVi like can perform at a much higher level than they have before, and they know these things, but something in their comms is very awkward. Clockwork's there, breaks the smoke on this Razor, but he's not even sitting on a ward, so he doesn't even see the Razor, right? So I'm just like a little confused of what the plan is there.
And then he decides to hook shot back to his team, which somehow miraculously managed to catch the Wind Ranger as she blinked in. But it's like, if that's your whole play, is to pop the smoke and hook shot back to your team and play the high ground, you could have just played the high ground in the first place. You could have just sat in your base.
Yeah, or your team should have just stayed back and just let you pop the smoke and not commit to the fight, but everyone got caught there. It's just so weird to see. They have no vision right now except for in the Radiant jungle there. I'd like to see them try to play more in that area. The name of the game, it's 52 minutes in the game, is to fight under vision, right? You need some type of vision advantage where this Lion and Clockwork can see what they're going on and surprise them. Get a pick off. They've been picked off a lot this game, but they haven't really found many pickoffs themselves. They're really just looking for these 5-man smokes team fight you, and they didn't really draft for that.
Yeah, I will say I was kind of clicking around Fear. It's a Razor game, right?
Yeah.
What's the one item that you always go against a Razor? Lotus Orb, right? There's not a single Lotus Orb on NaVi. Not a single Lincoln's, not a single Lotus Orb. What's going on? Clockwork had a billion farm. Like, he could have gotten a Lotus Orb for no one. If they can get rid of that Link on Razor, he has a much better chance of being able to actually, deal the damage in these fights instead of running away all the time.
I think both our cores should have got Lincolns, and they should have a Lotus, personally speaking. Like, Lotus is so great this game. It stops Focus Fire, it stops Grip, it stops Link. Granted, you get your BKB off, right? But if you got like 2 Lincolns and you're stacking them on Kunkka frontlining, things get a little complicated. A Lotus Orb in there too. And then they found Ghostic bottom, or Ghostic found General bottom.
They're gonna be able to Fiend's Grip him, so ultimately, Ghostic's awkward blink in the trees didn't matter. Empire are gonna wrap quickly back to the other side of the map because they don't want to let NaVi get outside here, and maybe
no buyback Clockwork
kill. Yeah, they know. Do they know that? Let's see.
Yeah, he has cooldown.
6 minutes. Okay. Gale Force trying to push somebody out of position. Not quite getting it, but certainly a big opportunity for Empire to be able to siege the high ground once again. Shisui going for the fast kill onto Aloha Dance. Doesn't actually get it. Nice reactions there as they actually continue to blink forward here. Maybe a little bit deep. They do manage to get the call onto V-Tune as Lightless now commits his BKB and tries to double damage. He can. Quickly pops a refresher, fresh BKB in order to get out of that overgrowth, but Shisui needs the help. They do manage to get a 4-staff before the torrent can land. Ghostic back in once again, but but they've committed a lot of their abilities. That's going to be another sap, another BKB with nothing given for it. They still have another round, though. Refresher is up for the Razor, and they're going to be able to get the kill onto Solo. Now the call jumps in once again for the Aeon Disc and Force Staff. Honestly, Na'Vi are doing a very good job, but they just don't have the numbers. It seems like overwhelming resources, and finally there's the break as the Ghost Stick 2-man call comes through, and even as they kill the egg, it doesn't matter. They do manage to bring down no one, and that is going to be the Game 1 of Empire versus Na'Vi. It was a messy game.